Hey guys, it's Patriot Gal, and welcome to the Forging Freedom podcast channel, where we teach you how to build your personal liberty one step at a time. Hey, it's spring in northern Utah. It's about mid-April, and I'm going to take you on a natural rabbit food expedition today. Our ancestors didn't have the advantage of going to a feed store to pick up their rabbit food. They just had to feed the rabbits the things that they could find. And we can do the same thing today. It doesn't take any special food for a rabbit to live. If you think about it, a rabbit lives on its own in the wild and does just fine. So it's just a matter of finding those wild foods. So you're going to need a couple of tools. The first thing you're going to need is just a 5-gallon bucket or any kind of container that you can put your wild rabbit foods in. And then I'll tell you what else I find handy. I find these serrated bread knives really handy for cutting wild foods. So let's get our equipment and let's go on our hunt. So one of the most favorite foods of a rabbit is this plant coming up right here. This is just your everyday common dandelion. Everybody should be able to find these, and rabbits absolutely devour these. Another thing that rabbits love, they just love plain old grass. You know, here's some meadow grass that will be perfect for the rabbits. And you can use meadow grass, you can use grass from your lawn. You probably don't want to have that chemically treated if you're trying to be organic, but just plain old grass. They love that. Let's get some. Hey, you know what, guys? I see another plant that rabbits love, and I just want to show you. This isn't the best specimen, but this will help you identify this plant. And the plant is yellow dock. Now, you'll probably recognize or have a plant like this near your home or in a field. You see those big seed clusters? Those are the seeds of yellow dock. And you can see that's the old growth from last year, but you can see the new growth coming in right at the base of those stems. But I've got much better specimens out in the field that don't have any stems on them. So let's go find some. All right, guys, I see a great specimen coming right up. Now, these yellow dock plants, they like to grow in areas where the dirt is bare. So when you start repairing your fields, you'll get less and less of this, but there's plenty of it around other places. Look at that. That's a beautiful big plant. Let's get some of that. You know, I see some more yellow dock over here, so we're going to come over and get some more. But, you know, the great thing about these wild plants is you do not have to worry about over-harvesting. These are considered weeds in a lot of places, which means translate that into super hardy plant. You can cut these things right to the ground and they will come right back. You can have food for your rabbits all year long. But right now, springtime, it's prime time for these babies. So we're going to grab this one too. You can see, guys, that I have cut that yellow dock right down to the ground. I mean, right level with the ground. And, no worries. That thing will be back with a vengeance in a couple of weeks. I'll be able to come out here probably in a week. I'll be able to cut some more. So you just don't have to worry about that at all. Just harvest it. All right, I see another fantastic plant for the rabbits. Nope, it's not this thistle. But the plant that I'm looking for is right back here. Let me get up there and show you. You see that plant right there in the center of the screen? That, my friends, is called Dyers Wood or Dyers Wood. It depends on how you want to pronounce it, but it's spelled Dyers-WOAD. And this plant was used in the past for making a blue dye for dyeing clothes. It's in the Brassica family, very closely related to broccoli, cabbage, that type of thing. In fact, the cancer preventative things that are in broccoli and cabbage are found in this plant more than any other. It's very bitter to eat. You can eat it. Humans can eat it, but it's very bitter. It's not very tasty, but rabbits think it's delicious. So we're going to grab some of that. Okay, we got the Dyers, and there is another nice specimen right there. Now, you may have trouble recognizing this particular plant. It's more recognizable in the mid to late summer. It puts up a tall stalk with bright yellow flowers on it, little tiny flowers, similar to when broccoli goes to seed. If you've ever had that happen, you would recognize that, but the flowers aren't as dense as on the broccoli. If you collect wild foods a lot and you start paying attention, you'll be able to recognize these right away. You know what else rabbits love? They love tree trimmings. So certain kind of trees, and when you do the pruning, it's perfectly safe for rabbits to eat. Now, I've already done the pruning on this apple tree. As you can see, it's pretty well pruned. There's a pear tree, it's pretty well pruned. But all of these prunings are still laying on the ground. And I'm going to get some of the fresher ones and break them up into bundles. And we'll be feeding those to the rabbits too. Now, they don't eat the wood. They will gnaw on the wood. But mostly what they are looking for is to chew the bark off. They'll eat all the bark off, the outer bark, the inner bark, and they'll chew a little bit on the wood. And then you just need to put those in a wood pile. You can compost them running through a chipper, or you can... What I've done is I've saved them aside after they've chewed them, and I stack them and save them for fuel for when I need to fire up a big pot of water to pluck some chickens. So you can get dual use out of your trimmings. So we're going to gather some of those, and then we'll go see what else we can find. All right, so I'm over here underneath the pear tree, and we're going to get some of these finer ones that are still a little bit yellow and green, and we're just going to break them up into bundles. So I just like to get them about 6-8 inches long and just fold them back and forth till I have a little bundle like that. Just put those in the bucket. So I'll be making several of those. I'm up behind the garden here, kind of up in zone 7, and I see something else that the rabbits love. This is a quaking asp tree, and they love the little trimmings off of those too. So we're going to gather a few of those. I can see one right there. That'll be a good one for them. I try not to cut them all off because I want them to come back every year. So I try to leave a little bit of a supply. I'll just cut the tip off of this one. And you know, if you find a branch where, like there's one right up there. If you find a branch and you don't cut it all the way to the stem, you just cut it part of the way off. A lot of times, see I'm leaving about an inch there. A lot of times it'll grow 3 or 4 shoots out of that area next year. So we'll take a few of those. Look at those tender little green leaves on the end of there. That's like ice cream to a rabbit. All right, guys, we're out by a flowering plum tree. And as you can see, this thing heavily suckers every year. It's got a lot of suckers that need to be cut down, and they grow so fast. So, but it's a plum tree, it's a fruit tree, so they're not going to mind that in the least. So I'll cut all these down and feed them to the rabbits too. Are you starting to see how the problem could become your solution? How you can feed your rabbits with just things that are around your yard? Yeah, we'll get some of those, and we're off to the next thing. And this is one of our lilac bushes, and it's just starting to leaf out, as you can see. And oh my goodness, rabbits love lilac bushes. So I'm going to do a little bit of pruning here and get some of these for the rabbits. It's like killing 2 birds with 1 stone. The pruning needs to be done anyway, but I can feed the rabbits at the same time. And you can see right over here, I've got some volunteer lilac plants that are coming up out of this gravel. I don't really want them there, and so I can cut those to the ground and they will come again next spring, and that gives me plenty to feed the rabbits. So stand by while I get some of those. All right, so what we've got here is a nice bunny salad. So let's get down there to the rabbit hutch and get these guys fed. Down here feeding the rabbits, we've got a nice little bunny salad with a little bit of everything in it. And this is my new buck. He is going to town on that stuff. They love to get some spring greens. After a long winter, they just like some fresh food. So you can see that nature provides you with a lot of things that you can feed for your rabbits. You know, God is good, and He'll take care of you, and He's provided everything that you need. You just need to pay attention. So, there you go. Happy rabbits. We're going to make sure we get everybody else some, but he likes that stuff. So if you like this kind of stuff, guys, remember to subscribe to the channel and click the little bell so that you can be notified of any new videos that we're doing for you guys. And thanks for coming along for our spring natural rabbit feed field trip. And we're going to see you again on this same topic in the summer. We'll show you what types of things are grown in the summer that you can feed the rabbits. Also, guys, you can check out our podcast at forgingfreedompodcast.com. And that way, if you don't have time to watch a video, you can listen to some audio of different subjects that we talk about. And it's all designed to help you to forge your freedom and to grow your personal liberty. So we'll see you again next time, guys. Bye now.